Hey. If you just saw my video, you saw that. I know we're running a few minutes late, but we are here now. Got my good friend, Kiki.
Yes.
And we have a very special guest joining us, Miss Kaitlyn.
Yes.
And so we are here to really talk about their journey with autism, what it's like, what life is like for them, what the journey has been, things that they want people to know. It's gonna be really, really good. It's gonna be packed, just full of so much goodness. So I want y'all to drop questions in the comment. I want y'all to shout them out. They are nervous, but I told them that I do a lot of talking, and it's just like if y'all wasn't here and we was just sitting here talking. That's what the vibe is. Again, we have Miss Kaitlyn with us, and Kaitlyn is so special to this conversation because what I think people don't realize is that when you talk about somebody with a disability, you don't realize all of the family members that come with them, what their support system truly looks like. Because a lot of families out here truly band together to support that person in their journey with their disability, and they take on and shoulder a lot of what that person needs on a daily basis. And then what people tend to forget about is our own well-being, and the outside looking in, you just think we should just push through, and it's hard. Everything that we do is hard. As a sister or a sibling, this is hard to watch your parents go through, to watch your sibling go through. You have hopes and dreams. You wish it wasn't like this. There's just so much that kind of comes with it when you're thinking about or what people should think about when you're living with a disability. And so I'm just so excited to have y'all here. Welcome to my house. Welcome to TWA Talks. And this won't be the last time that y'all are here. So just go ahead and get ready for this to be your icebreaker. But y'all definitely got to come back because I think that you have a really important perspective that people don't get to hear. You have the moms out here, we share our stories, but like it's the families that people don't hear from. And when you have a family that you don't know, they're not famous, internet famous, or they're not talking about it constantly every day out loud for people to know about, you're easily forgotten if we're being honest about it. And so that's what TWA Talks is here for, to be a platform for you to share your feelings, to share your frustrations, to share your joys, especially to highlighting the joys, especially with everything that's going on in the news politically, how it's just so much negative rhetoric, involved. And it's being spewed by people who have no idea what it's like. You can't tell us that we don't have joy in our life. You can't tell us that that our families are destroyed because we have a specific diagnosis. You don't get to say that. But who does get to say that is the families who's living it. And I don't hear families say that they are destroyed.
No.
It's hard, yes, but think about why it's hard. It's hard because of the accessibility. It's hard because of what people think about you. It's hard because of the labels that you get. It's hard because of the mean things that kids say. It's hard because of what we have to endure daily. And then it's hard when you got to go outside and endure even more by insensitive people, by people who don't care to understand, by people who make it a little bit harder for you. So that's why we got y'all here, to set the record straight. So with that being said, I hope that y'all are able to stick with us. I got some exciting announcements at the end. I don't want this to be about those announcements, so make sure you're with us at the end. If not, just know we got some exciting news to share in the coming days. But let's go ahead and dive into it. So first, go ahead and tell everybody. I know I said y'all name, but I want y'all to introduce yourselves, and then let's just start talking about Kennedy and what it's like.
Okay. Well, I'm Nakia. I also go by Kiki. I'm a mother of three. Kaitlyn is my oldest. Cairo is my middle, and Kennedy is my baby. So I'm gonna let Kaitlyn introduce herself as well.
Come on, girl.
You got it.
Just say your name. Tell everybody your name. It's gonna take a deep breath and then blow it out. There you go. Okay. So what's your name?
Kaitlyn,
Kaitlyn. Okay. How old are you, Kaitlyn?
11.
11. And you have siblings? Who are they?
Kennedy and Cairo.
Okay. And how old are they?
Cairo is 7 and Kennedy is 3.
Okay. You like being a big sister?
No.
Me either. Listen, I know how you feel because it's a lot of work, ain't it? It's like work you ain't asked for too, huh? Yeah, it's okay. Say you ain't gonna get in trouble, but you're a big helper to your mom, aren't you? Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about what your relationship with Kennedy is like. No, you don't know. Okay,
No.
tell me something that she does that makes you laugh.
Spin around in circles.
Really? What makes her spin around in circles?
She just randomly do it.
And what do you say when she's doing it?
Nothing.
Nothing. You don't say nothing. You just roll your eyes
And walk away.
and walk away. Do you ever? Do you have your own room or do y'all share a room?
Share room.
Share a room. Do you wish you had your own room?
It don't matter.
It don't matter. Why not?
Because she don't really be in there.
Oh, where is she?
With mom.
Yeah. 99.9% of the time she with me.
Yeah. Well, you know, most babies like that.
Yeah.
That's okay. So tell us a little bit about Kennedy's autism. So like what has that journey kind of been?
It's been ups and it's been downs. I'm not gonna lie and say it's just been smooth coasting for us. Because Kennedy is still so young. She's only 3. So when things started happening and I started noticing stuff, I was like,
what kind of things did you see that was happening and you kind of noticed?
I would say the lack of eye contact.
Okay.
Because when they're small like that, you tickle their belly, you play with them, they laugh, y'all make that intimate like eye contact. I would look at her and it was just like, I wasn't there. Or, we'll call her name, me and her daddy will call her name like Kennedy, Kennedy, Kennedy. No response. No response. So we thought about like, hey, let's go to the doctor. Let's see, could have a hearing problem, because she kept getting ear infections. So we was like, okay, do that. Okay, she's a candidate. She needs surgery. So we go do the surgery. Okay. Everything went fine. Kenny has tubes in the ear, just like most typical kids. So after that, we go back and we repeat the hearing test. She hear fine.
Okay.
She passed.
So you saying she kept like not responding when you were calling her name?
Not at all.
Okay.
It's just like I was talking to nobody, or she'll just walk away.
Okay. So about how old was she when you were noticing like her not reacting to you?
I really would say like right after her first birthday.
Okay.
I noticed like her language and speech, it wasn't developing.
Okay.
But I know every child develops at a different rate. So I would just, give her a chance. Oh, maybe she's just one of them kids that's shy, don't like to talk or whatever. But it was just like going nowhere.
Yeah.
And I would ask the daycare, I'm like, hey, is Kenny talking? She saying anything out there? I'm like, yeah. And then about a month or two went by, and I'm like, no, she ain't saying nothing. So I was like, okay, let me just put this thought, in the back of my mind. Let me just hold on to it because I didn't know what was wrong.
Yeah.
I just thought her, her speech could be delayed.
Yeah, that's what, a lot of families probably like endure the same thing. And that's some of the more common things that people start to say about like noticing autism is the social cues. Cause like, that's how it sounds like you're describing it to me. It's like, calling her name or not like talking or not making eye contact, that's definitely like some of the more common or more familiar like symptoms is that parents usually say, oh, this don't seem right, especially since she was your youngest.
Yes.
So you had 2 kids before her, so you already had some experience.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that, like, that is one of the, I'm glad that you had that experience, because can you imagine like what it would have been like for a first timer, you know, who would have like pushed that aside, like, well, like you said, because that's what I did. They develop at their own pace, at their own rate. Let's not rush them. I'm all about like letting kids develop themselves and not rushing them according to a timeline that somebody else set that don't know them and don't see them. So I'm glad that you took the steps to say, let's go to the doctor, or let's get her checked out. Let's do these things. You took the steps. You weren't afraid, because a lot of people won't even do that. You know, so like that's a good thing. I think that's a really like key thing to highlight for what y'all's journey is that you started noticing early and got help early and started reaching out to people early. So what about you, Kaitlyn? Did you understand what autism meant, or what your mom is describing about what she noticed about Kennedy? Then she just seemed like, have you seen other babies like her, or experience, you know, like that behaved like she does?
Not really.
No. Okay. That's okay. Because I think that, again, when we talk later on, I think you're going to share some really valuable insights for people to really understand. So then go ahead and tell us like when you finally got the diagnosis.
Well, we got a Zoom call from the doctor, and me and her dad was on the Zoom call. So she told us Kennedy had autism. And, you know, I was just, it felt like a brick dropped on my chest, because I was like, no, not my baby. No. But I just knew in the back of my mind it was something. I just wasn't expecting it to be that.
Yeah. Did they how did they test her? Like, how did she decide it was autism?
Well, she placed her in like a little small like conference room, and they pulled out different toys. And one was a phone. The phone kept ringing. She didn't hear it, or she acted like she didn't hear it. I don't know. She had a duck like right in her ear, no response. Just like, hey, Kim, you want to play with a baby in the tub or anything like that? It was just like, we was obsolete. Like she was in her own world, and I was just over there. Just I wanted to help her so bad, and I couldn't, because I know she had to do her assessment. But when I seen the assessment, you know, taking place, I was like, oh my God, like, this is real. Yeah. And something's about to happen.
What was the experience like during the assessment? Where did y'all go?
Regiment Pediatrics.
Okay. And did y'all, when they did the assessment, did you, like, how was the interaction? Like you said, it sounds like, you know, they took Kennedy to a space and they did certain things to, you know, follow their tests. But like, as for you as a parent, do you feel like they were explaining things as y'all went along, or asking you questions, or saying, you know, so like, I'm doing this and this is what I would expect, and then you kind of saw like what Kennedy's?
I would say, as far as like when the assessment was going on, I just basically just sat on the couch. I had to kind of just be quiet and just let her do her thing. Yeah. I tried to ask questions, but she can tell I was like a nervous wreck. And she was telling me more so to calm down, because I was just over there like she's not doing none of these things. Yeah. So, I mean, the doctor, she was very patient with me. She was just like, it's going to be okay. You know, we're going to get through it. But Kenna just went through the assessment like it was a breeze for her. She just finished whatever she asked her. She tried to do some things, but most of the things that required like social skills, it wasn't there.
Yeah. I know that, so like with the program that I'm in, I was able to sit and do some clinical observations for people who went through the same like testing and or the assessments, and where it is very important for a parent not to interfere, because that's how you get the true like evaluation done. You know, you get the true like reaction. But there's so many, there are like some assessments. So there are certain types of assessments that they could give you. It sounds like y'all's pediatrician did a phenomenal, or whoever was the clinician that was doing the assessment did a phenomenal job, because like they took her through it and understood that this was hard for you to watch at the same time. And so like that's what I was getting at, because it takes the clinician to understand that when this diagnosis happens, it's not happening to just the kid. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that is really valuable. And when you talk about family-centered care, knowing that it's not just the patient that's involved in this, it's the person that's in the room with them as well, their caretaker, caregiver, whoever, it's very important that you involve them, make sure they're comfortable, and so that you're getting that evaluation done. So what ultimately was the final or the diagnosis that they gave?
Level 1 autism.
Level 1. So of all of the, so when you talk about the severity of autism, just for everybody who's watching, there are 4 levels. We know, and they no longer say Asperger's.
Mm-hmm.
So Asperger's, just so you know, for your own information, Asperger's is no longer a way that autism is identified. They refer to it as levels. It's because that language, how we were talking about people saying autism destroys families. It's the language that matters. And saying that somebody has Asperger's was always an indication to people that, oh, this was a high functioning. Mm-hmm. And so they're getting away from that language as well, because what's high functioning and low functioning? Are you telling me that I'm low functioning because I can't do the same task, but I can do this task over here that this person that's high functioning, So there is different, when you talk about the severity of autism, it's levels 1 through 4. And it looks different for everybody. Level 1, what it looks like for y'all, level 1 looks different for some other family. And that's what we want to acknowledge. So with that being said, let's move into what does daily life look like with y'all? So I know, Kaitlyn, you could chime in on this part. What does it look like, a typical day with Kennedy and the family look like? So waking up, getting ready for school.
She like to bust in there while I'm trying to get ready.
And so what happens then? Tell us how it go. Walk us through it.
So I wake up, I go in the bathroom, I brush my teeth and wash my face, and I go back in my room and I try to get ready. Then Mama tell me to let her in the room because she been banging on the door for the last 5 minutes. And then she come in and she blasts Bluey while the TV on. And then she like to throw the iPad when it die. And then after that, she wants somebody to charge it, and I'm still trying to get ready, so I can't charge it. So I'm trying to put my shoes on, and she's still crying about the iPad. And then when I'm ready, I take the iPad to the front by the charger station next to the bread and stuff, and I put it on the charger. And then she wants the iPad back because it's 1% charge.
Because it turns on.
And then after that, when I give it to her and it died again, she wanted to go right back on the charger.
Does that frustrate you?
Yes.
So what do you say? Do you say anything? What do you say during that whole process?
Wait, it's trying to charge.
And she doesn't listen. All little sisters is like that. I got 3 of them, okay? And they in their 30s. I got one in her 30s. I got 2 of them in their 20s, and they still the same way. I feel you. The journey looks the same for everybody. So what other challenges do y'all have? So that's what it looks like on a good day. But what does a bad day look like?
You want me to go?
Either one of y'all.
I go.
Tell us. We want to know.
Okay, so like every other household, you got 3 kids getting ready to go to school. Everybody is everywhere. I'm trying to get ready for work. Kids trying to get ready for work. So Kennedy sometimes not a morning person, so she don't like to be rushed. She don't like to be rushed at all. So I try and play some little music, try and tickle her, get her in the mood, and then she'll come around like, okay, Kenny, time to get up, go brush our teeth. It's a struggle in there. brushing teeth. I'll let her do her thing. She'll play around with it. And I'm like, okay, let me do the correct way so we make sure we don't have no cavities. So we come out the bathroom, putting on clothes.
Yeah.
It can be tough sometimes, because if she doesn't want to do something, it makes it extremely hard, because she has to learn these life skills.
Yeah.
She has to learn how to put on her socks. She has to learn how to pull up. But she's still in pull-ups. But she got to learn how to pull her underwear up. Got to learn how to do stuff for herself. And I have to give her enough time to do things for herself.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of it comes from.
You're pointing out that a child with autism still has a huge personality, period. She ain't a morning person. She want that iPad charged immediately. And as soon as it turns back on, give it to me right now. That's personality. That is the same personality that every other child goes through. But like you said, it's a little difficult, because when you talk about disability and autism, we know that with neurodiversity, it's internal. It's not something that they can control. And so how she feels, with my big sister telling me I need to wait, typically a child would just pout and walk off. But a child with a disability or with autism or, any type of neurological impairment, they may not be able to regulate, as easily as a child, and not saying it's easy, because listen, Harper is the same way. That like every morning we wake up, it's a fight to get her to pull up, stand up, and and I get it. Like I'm with you. Like that's what it looks like. And even though it sounds like we are all like facing some similar challenges, which we are, that layer of her not being able to listen or to, she just ain't with it today. Like everybody has those days, but when you talk about neurodiversity and the internal challenges that they are trying to overcome inside, that's the stuff that people don't really understand. And so that's what creates that level of difficult, for us. So I feel you. It's that is over here too, man. Listen, Harper is the same white boy. So Harper she's not diagnosed with autism, but we know that there are some, cerebral palsy is neurological anyway. And she also has sensory issues, or I say challenges. She has sensory challenges where something can startle her and that's gonna make her fall over, whereas some kids get startled and they may start crying. It's the same thing showing up in different ways. So I completely understand. So then let's talk a little bit about autism, and this is more so for you, Mom, about the treatment, right? So I saw this post a couple of days ago from one of my friends. She shared this post about this girl saying, here's how I healed my son's autism. And everybody has these magical, this is what my story is. And I love that you're sharing your story, but also it can be misleading sometimes when you talk about healing autism. What that means for someone who does not truly understand autism is the message that you're sending is they don't have autism no more. Huh? Autism is neurological. The studies show it's the issue with the brain. So you're saying that you healed the brain and the autism is completely gone and he's not going to have challenges anymore. How can you, I got questions and I ain't going to sit here and make this about that. But those are the misconceptions that people are pushing, and that, you have these naturalists that are out there. And it's just everybody's just not acknowledging the fact that autism is a neurological, the brain is not something that is easily healed. It can heal itself, yes, in certain capacities, but there are still going to be differences. There's going to be things that are not what they call typical. And just because you're saying, I changed his diet so he no longer exhibits this behavior, does not mean he's not struggling somewhere else that you're not talking about. And so that's why so tell me what your experience has been as it relates to fixing autism or things that you've heard people say?
Oh, I see a lot of vitamins come across. Um, like if the child has like an iron deficiency, or digestive issues, do this supplement, twice a day, you'll see results. My child did this, my child did that. Or we seen something and we actually tried it where but it was like clay and baking soda, and it was another one, and they're supposed to do like a metabolic balance because the metals could be off. I did that. We did it probably like a couple times. I was like, I don't know about this. Well, I'm like, it may start a rash.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, to see some things and think that it's gonna change, some of that stuff is a gimmick. And some of that stuff people have tried because they want to help their child.
Yeah.
And which I understand.
Right.
But the same way you want to help your child, you got to be willing to change. So you can help your child.
That's the way it's said. Just that. So you're basically speaking to the fact that it's not about changing the child, it's about changing your perspective of what this child's life experience is going to be. And in trying to change them, you're still trying to force them to fit what you have decided their life should look like, as opposed to kind of going with them. I love that you said that. Thank you. Because when I saw that post and I went through the comments, and the mama looked like she had time that day because she was responding to everybody, and it was like, oh, excuse me, I hope nobody's offended by me saying this, but she's like, oh, it's only the white people that have an issue with me saying that I healed my son's autism. And it's like, no, ma'am, to me, what you just said, number one, is misleading to people who are desperate for something like what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Some people don't embrace that diagnosis the way that you did. You embraced it and you said, okay, we got the diagnosis. What's next? Or what does this look like for our family? And we decided what this is going to look like for our family and how we're going to support Kennedy best. But for people who don't do that and still want them to be that typical child or look like every other child, they're going to follow your gimmick. Okay. Mm-hmm. All you did was change their diet. Yes, when you change a diet, what we do know is that you improve your health, and you may have seen changes in his behavior because, girl, I could go on for days about this. I'm a biology major, and it's so many different factors, but where I feel like people really mislead other people is because what you're saying is you changed this one behavior. He ain't doing this no more. But was that all his autism was? Are you being honest about that? No, you're not. You're talking about it from like one side. And so I really I hate that, but also it's just like, I applaud you for the efforts that you did to help your child. I see that you want to support your child and you're seeing improvements in your child, but autism don't look the same for everybody. Somebody else with the same level of autism for their child could try the same thing and they see no change. Yes. Like, you have to be honest about that. So so anyway, I'm gonna move on to the next because I could go on for days. So what advice would you give to parents? So this is a question that I went back and forth on asking because of the because where we going next is, you probably gonna lead us right into it anyway. But of the conversations that we've had with each other when we first met was why we don't know what's out there. Yeah. Like, how do we not know all the options that we have? Why does it feel like it's hidden? Or why is it so hard to get to? So, but you, like you said, you took the steps, you did things, you got intervention for Kennedy, you did these things. So what would you say to parents who are overwhelmed by all the therapy and service options out there?
I would say to them, it's okay to cry. Oh. I went days without no sleep, trying to read stuff. I'll be on my phone all night trying to figure out, what does she need? How can I get that? Why I don't qualify for Medicaid? What is this? What is that? And it started building up inside how frustrated I was getting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh my God, like I feel like I just want to snap.
Yeah.
Because I can't get the results I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But, the more I talked to her dad, I was just like, he was like, it's okay. It's okay. I had to start talking to families and friends about how frustrated I was that I couldn't provide some of the stuff I see in my own state that I feel like my child is entitled to, and I'm just going nowhere. You got insurance, your insurance giving you
the run around.
Yes.
We don't cover.
We don't cover this.
You got this many. Yes. Oh, girl.
Yes.
Girl. So, like I said, I knew you was gonna take us straight into talking about the barriers that families like really face, because you get this diagnosis. You got a good job. Your husband got a good job. You got your family structure set up. It's working, and then boom, you get hit with this diagnosis. And you think, oh, it's a medical diagnosis that's going to entitle me to medical services.
Yeah.
And then you get hit with the
no
red tape. No, here, you make too much money. That was the first thing that we were told. You make too much money. So I went to school. I did all the things, got all this debt, doing, making the right choices, the decisions, and doing all that. And like the things that I thought that I would be entitled to, you're now telling me, nope. Girl, so how do you feel? Do you feel like being a Black mother has been a part of your journey, or that has impacted or played a part of some of the barriers?
Color sometimes does have an impact on it, because in our community, it's kind of like some stuff you don't talk about, especially anything that's mental. A lot of times people say, ain't nothing wrong with that baby. Oh, she'll be all right. She'll grow out of it. You're like, well, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe it's just me. And the fact that I had to suck that up and be like, okay, forget what they talking about. Let me go out here and find these resources. Sometimes the resources are in areas that's across town, and the waiting list is out of this world. And it's still, sometimes it's about who you know. They can make stuff happen for you. You just never know. You can skip a whole line if you know somebody. So sometimes, it take a toll on you, because you have to be willing to go out there and just talk to anybody, because I had to realize disability does not discriminate.
No.
It don't care.
And that's what
color.
they don't understand.
It don't care. It don't care. It don't care if you're Black, white, Chinese, or whatever. If this is what you're going to deal with, this is your reality. You can't change this. You can just work through it. But I do feel like sometimes when I was getting those no's, I was like, man, what? I got one no just based off the fact that Kennedy was a little over 2. The program stopped at 3. They're like, oh, no, we can't help you. I almost threw up, because I was just like, no, why?
Because then what's it? And then they say no, and then that's it. They don't say, go try this or go do this. They don't say nothing. They just tell you no and send you on your way. So Kaitlyn, let's bring you back into the conversation, because I know you over here like, baby, I ain't got nothing to do with doctor's visits. Have you ever gone to the doctor with your mom and Kennedy?
I don't think so.
No? Have you ever... So let's talk a little bit about, so we were talking about how sometimes your race could play a part in, some of the things that you experience. Do you feel like that's been your experience, Annie? Do you feel like because people look at Kennedy like she's a little Black girl, that she's just being bad, or, she's just like, she doesn't have a disability, she's just a certain way? You can say it. It's okay. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing to you. What do you think about that?
I don't know.
You know, it's okay if you don't know. You don't have to. So, when you watch TV, or are you online? Are you on social media? Sometimes we'll go with sometimes. So when you go on social media, or okay, let's talk about TV. Have you seen any TV shows where there are people who are like Kennedy or have a diagnosis of autism like her? You have? Have you watched any of them?
It was a movie.
Oh,
I
what was
forgot
the
what it
movie?
was called, but it
Oh,
was about a girl and she was going to school and they were picking on her.
oh man. Have you seen any kids at your school with autism? You have? Are they in your class?
Mm-hmm.
They are? Okay. What do you feel about that? Are they your friends?
I don't really talk to
Oh, okay. That's okay. Do you think about what it might be like for Kennedy when she becomes your age? Sometimes, yeah. Do you worry about it any?
sometimes.
Yeah. What has it been like for you as an 11-year-old, that's the sister to a 3-year-old that has autism? What has it felt like? It's okay. Has it been hard? Yeah, it's okay. Okay. So when you say it's hard, is it hard like you wish she could talk to you? Yeah. What would y'all talk about?
Why she can't listen.
Listen, I still had that conversation with the 30-year-old. Um, okay. I think that do you know how important you are to Kennedy? No. So whenever someone has been labeled as not normal, because that's what the world say, normal, which I don't believe there's a such thing as normal. But for people who say, well, she's not normal, to have a big sister like you, would you protect her if someone was to say that about her? How would you protect her? Would you say something to them?
It's okay. You say it.
Yeah, you can say it. Tell us. Because you know why? The reason why I'm asking you is because there's some other kids out there that's probably going through the same thing, and they just don't know that it's okay for them to feel like what they feel. They don't know it's okay to like be sad that your sister can't talk to you yet. Because she'll learn how to talk to you. It's just gonna take her a little bit longer. Um, or okay, so tell me about what it's like. Have you ever seen anybody with autism mistreated? You have. How did that feel?
It
How did it
was
make you feel?
sad
It,
because they couldn't really do anything because it was a lot of people doing the same thing,
what were they doing?
like throwing stuff at them, calling them names and stuff.
Hmm. And was this at school, or where was it other children, or was it just like something you saw on TV?
It was at school.
At school. So some kids were treating a kid who had autism mean. Did you feel like you could help them?
Yeah, I told the teacher.
That's good. That's a really good. You know what we call that in big people world? An advocate. So whenever you see someone who's being mistreated, and you decide to help them get help, or go and tell somebody that something bad is happening, that's that's a way of protecting them from those mean people. And that's a really good thing that you did. And that shows that you will be an advocate also for your sister, who is going to need the same thing one day. But it's different now because it's your sister. So if you saw somebody doing that to your sister, would you have done the same thing? What would you have done if there was a little boy that threw a rock at Kennedy, what would you have done?
Pushed them into the same room.
So and that's okay. Now, I mean, it's okay that you want to advocate. We don't want to do it with violence, but I understand that because I'm a sister as well, and I was the same way with my siblings. They didn't have autism, but that shows that you're a really good big sister, and that you're gonna be an advocate for Kennedy one day. How does that make you feel? No, I understand. Okay. So let's move into kind of talking about some things that y'all have heard said about Kennedy. And so what we call that is stereotypes, right? So like, has anybody ever told y'all to be strong? Just be strong.
All the time.
We talked about this with Tierra, how people look at us as mothers of children with disabilities and say, "You're so strong." And like what that translates to is it couldn't be me.
Oh yeah.
Because that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Like that's ultimately like what you're saying to me, and people think that they pay you a compliment. So when people tell you, "Oh, that's your little sister with autism," you're so strong. Internally, what you might be feeling is like, "What do you mean I'm strong? She make me mad every day," like that's actually more of an insult, because they're diminishing what your experience truly is like, because they're not familiar with it. Now, sometimes they don't mean to do that. They just don't know what else to say. But when you stereotype people, so what has your experience with stereotypes been?
Oh my gosh. When as far as like parenting, like you said, being strong, I did this with mine, and all that went away. They're just going through a phase, or she'll get over it. Just don't worry about that. And I'm just like, are you up 3 a.m. with a toddler just laughing all night long, or do you know how it feels to try and parent in a grocery store and they think your child is bad? They have no idea what you're going through in this grocery cart. And she could be having the tantrum because she can't communicate, but can use some sign language.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but like far as verbal communication, I know for sure Kennedy knows how to utilize no. Other than that, we have to kind of find a way to communicate. But I see people. You can just feel people watching you, like, oh man, she don't know what she's doing over there. Look at them kids. They probably just think I'm just a nervous wreck, but it's just another day.
What would you say? So if you were like in that moment, right, and you in the store and it's really just like a tantrum, and like you said, like the people are staring, what would you say to those people who are staring? If you could like pause, if you could just press pause on the kids and just freeze everybody in time, like what would you say?
I would say,
you ain't gotta be nice.
Okay. I ain't gonna say. I would just say, hey, okay, if I pause time for 1 second, let's just swap places. Let me know how you feel in these shoes. We say a lot of things about people or other people's children until you got to walk in their shoes. So before you judge, you got to understand what's going on. You see chaos. I see chaos, but I'm navigating through the chaos.
Right.
So it's just, would I have nice words to say to all them people? No.
Girl.
I want to always have a nice word to say, but that's my job, to educate somebody, because you don't know her.
Child, we always got to we got a question from the comments. Okay.
And we have some other comments too. Someone said that all individuals with these disabilities aren't treated equally.
Absolutely.
And the question is, how do you deal with the tantrums?
Oh my God. I ain't gonna lie. I used to give in a lot of time. I'm like, just give it to her. I'm like, Carol, give her a cookie. KK, give her an iPad. Just give it to her. the crying sometimes would just get nerve-wracking, especially like if you're on a long drive. And I was just like, oh my God, like I don't have no more snacks. I'm out of entertainment. What is she trying to tell me? What does she want?
Mm-hmm.
And I had to just stop. Sometimes she may just want a hug.
Yeah.
Some kids like, that deep compression.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes it just go away. But tantrums is just a hit or miss. But you gotta find some type of patience. And I have never really been a patient person, but she's teaching me to have patience, to work through things. And I don't know what I'll do if I ain't had Candy.
I love
That's my
it.
girl.
I love it because they make us better. So tell us, what do you think about the tantrums? How do you deal with the tantrums as a big sister?
I just do something else and act like I don't hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very common thing because, so basically, what I do want to touch on as well is when you talk about the tantrums. So, what I've learned about autism and as it relates to the tantrums is just like, I think I want to highlight that you truly answered the question when you said it's not necessarily a tantrum. She's trying to communicate something that she does not know how. And that's where you learn patience. So, like, how Kaitlyn highlighted also, I would, if I could just get her to talk one day, if I just had one day, I would ask her, why don't you listen? It's the same thing. Internally, there is something that she's trying to communicate that she cannot. So, like you said, she's not verbal or as verbal. She has a few words. She has few words and she's learning sign language. And what we have to understand and educate people on is the fact that neurodiversity or any neurological challenge does not mean that the brain does not work.
Right.
It just does not work in the way we understand it to work. And so in her wanting to be able to communicate just like she sees Kaitlyn communicates, Kyra, whoever, she's trying to probably do the same thing, but whatever. So like for us, Harper, we know that Harper has calcifications on her brain, right? And so, like, we know that her neurological issues are due to the fact that the parts of the brain, the messages aren't getting there. So, like, the parts of her brain where the brain would send the message, how my brain is right now sending the message to my hands to do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Her brain can send the message, it ain't gonna reach her hand. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, like, when that happens, you have to also understand that they also understand that that's happening inside. So it's like, I'm telling my hand to move and it's not moving. And that becomes frustrating. And then, as a kid, she just don't understand that the iPad gonna die again if I take it off. You get what I'm saying? So, like, sometimes what people need to understand truly about neurodiversity is that the brain is not operating or functioning or firing in the way that we typically understand it, but it don't mean that it ain't firing. And so because it's not firing in the way that we understand it, we have to find other ways to be able to communicate or to help them get the message out. So that's why she's using sign language, but it doesn't mean that she doesn't understand. And so whatever it is that she truly understands, that she truly wants to communicate, is what's not coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the tantrum comes in. Because with Harper, we can ask her questions, yes or no questions. And once we ask her about 3 questions and it ain't the right questions, she's over it. I'm over it. Y'all ain't getting it, right? So that's ultimately like when you talk about neurodiversity, the tantrums, where your patience comes in is you accept and you embrace that it's not that the brain's not working, it's just not working in the way I'm used to. So you use patience to see if you could find out, well, what are you truly trying to say? Because you will get there. It'll just take you a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And like that's the part that I think I love about disabilities, because it makes all of us better. It makes all of us like understand that there's just not one approach to everything that we do.
Another question is, how do you discipline her if you do?
That's a good one.
Oh, okay. Because Kennedy is just like every other child.
Period.
She goes in the pantry, she takes snacks, and runs with them too.
Mm-hmm.
Kennedy go in timeout. Kennedy, well, yeah, because everybody gets in trouble sometime together. She knows normally when she's in trouble. She knows your voice changes. I try not to be, I ain't gonna lie, I don't be hard on her like I supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
But when I had enough, it's going down.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, hey,
Yeah.
come on here, sit down. What are you doing that for?
Mm-hmm.
And she'll just go sit down, no questions asked. So the fact that, like you said, the brain understands. So it's not like she don't understand, she just don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's no discrimination in our house as far as disciplinary actions. Ma'am, you come right along with your brother and your sister.
Nah, everybody going to
Yes.
time out together.
Yes.
So what you think about that, Kaitlyn? How do you feel like discipline looks for Kennedy?
She don't get the same discipline.
She don't tell us the truth, Kaitlyn. Tell us what really happened.
Because if me, Cairo, and Candy were to walk out the house and go to the mailbox and come back, me and Cairo would get a big old whooping, get all our stuff took because we could have got kidnapped. But Kennedy,
Right?
but Kennedy would just be sitting there on her iPad eating a snack while everybody else.
What?
True.
So how did that make you feel?
Mad.
So who are you mad at?
Candy and Mommy.
What does Kennedy? Why are you mad at Kennedy?
Because if she felt the way we felt, she'd be laughing sometimes when we get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But if she got the same whooping as we did, she would have never been laughing.
Yeah, that's right. You telling the truth now. I don't know. I might believe you, KK, over your mama right now.
Okay, it's all right. It's okay.
But you know what? It looks like that. I want you to know that a lot of families are structured the same way. Because if my mama watching right now, okay, Jordan, the one who downstairs with the kids right now, she didn't get half of what we got. She didn't even get a third of it. So a fourth of it. So I get what you're saying, KK. But that's the structure of families, and I think that's a beautiful thing to also pull out is that y'all look like just like every other family, just like you said, everybody getting disciplined. And you said from your perspective, nah, everybody ain't getting disciplined the same. I feel the same way about my family. But I love that you guys were able to like share that with people, and so that people can know, yeah, you got autism and you still finna go get in this corner, face the corner. Or, for us, we take Harper cartoons now. I do feel bad sometimes because I'm still kind of learning that, she made a mistake or she was truly trying to tell me something and I just punished her because I thought something else, So like that's the ongoing journey I think that we all are going to just be on. That's just going to be a part of it, but the effort is making sure that we're not treating them differently, like you said, you ain't gonna go as hard because you know that there are some challenges. That's just the bottom line. It doesn't mean that she gets favored, even though KK may feel like it may be a little bit different. I get it, but that's the part that people need to hear. We look the same. Everybody getting the same thing. Harper get them cartoons took at least 3 times a day. I promise you. Ain't no cartoons. It ain't no music. And you're going to eat this food in silence. That's my punishment for Harper because like that will break her down. Like I get it. I don't know. Once I figured that out, I was like, I got it now, But we get the tantrums, the screaming, that screaming. People don't understand when we say mental health. I heard Henry yell at our kids for the first time, and it scared me. Not because he yelled, but because that was out of character for him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that screaming is different. Do you feel like? How do you feel about Kennedy screaming when y'all in the car and the iPad dead and you just act like you don't hear it? I try that. I really wish I could do that because that'll help me move on. But sometimes for me, the burnout, hey, it takes too much. And so I I've even caught myself saying like that was a little too rough. You know what I'm saying? Like where, I pulled her up off the floor and it scared her. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that is what makes me be like, okay, I might need to like check out for a second because I'm getting to a breaking point that can kind of send. I totally, I'll say I understand where abuse comes into the equation for people who are burned out, because people don't understand our routines, our daily life, just like you described, looks completely different. You got to spend time getting her ready to do the routine. And for us, like we have a physical mobility, physical disability, and I wake up every morning sweating. So you have like people don't understand like that little part of it. I ain't talking about sweating because I was working out. Like I intentionally did it. I'm sweating because I'm trying to get this child ready to go who's resisting me. And it's not the same level of resistance that you might get from KK, who just don't feel like going to school today.
Yeah.
Who could still move around, who could still do the certain things. It's like, no. So now I'm sweating, and I also don't want to take away me pushing you to still do the things, because like while KK may be able to still get ready and resist you, but she can still get ready.
Yeah.
Somebody with a neurodiverse like challenge, it's like on 10 every day. And so like when you talk about the burnout, physical burnout, for us it's physical, a lot more physical, but the mental part of that is the part that's where you got to be like, I need 5 minutes. I literally, if I don't take it, like I don't know what could happen next. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now that like we walking this walk, I can't understand the abuse that people, may give to these people, but I understand. I had this friend one time, she told us that her dad had a stroke, right? And so she became like caregiver. And they get so mean. So she was just like, I just folded the bed. I just let them sit there folded. In my head, I was like, dang, that's so messed up. But it's like, well, I get it. It's like, I get it, because like, I can only imagine the things that he was saying, what he could have been doing, how you felt. And then like when you start factoring in like your life, so like one part that I was hoping I could pull out of KK was like, sometimes I just want to go with my friends and I don't want to have to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that like that exists and that happens. Yeah, it's just.
There's a comment related to that. How comfortable are you sending her over to family members' houses or leaving her with them for a few hours just to get a breather?
I'm gonna let Kiki answer that one. I'm gonna plead the fifth. Okay. Because I need my babysitters. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna answer. But you go first, because this is about y'all.
Okay. Shout out to all my babysitters. Y'all know who y'all are. Thank y'all for all y'all patience. Really, we kind of have like a tight knit, like far as like caregiving, like outside of the home. It's quite a few people that really watch Kenny. We have like a small like support system, and a lot of our people still work. So if I know I drop Kenny off for 2 hours, 3 hours, however long it may be, I know for a fact she's in good hands.
Yeah.
Because I know some of these individuals have worked in this community where there are neurodiverse children.
Okay.
Or they have worked in like healthcare.
Girl, that's a blessing right there. You got people who get it.
Or they just a grandma.
Yeah.
A grandma. Hey, mom.
Yeah.
Grandma, cousin, auntie, like Kevin family, my family, they do what they can. And I'm grateful. Mm-hmm. And I'm grateful for my friends, they do what they can because they don't have to.
Oh, girl, we didn't even get to talk about the friends, the support. Because listen, the friends that say, I want to learn. I don't know what this means, but what do I got to do? They'll never understand what that means to us. I hope they never understand. I hope they never have to walk that walk to understand that. But yeah. So we are going to wrap up because my producer said I gotta wrap up. So I'm glad because I ain't have to answer that question. So this is for both of y'all. So Kaitlyn, I'm so sorry that you thought this was boring. I just thought I had it in a bag. I knew I was gonna get it out of you, but that's okay. I'm gonna bring you back without your mom. How about that? And then we can just stop. Yeah, she said, "I'll take it." So, what do y'all hope for Kennedy in the future? You know, as people who you're going to advocate for her. We don't know what her future looks like. That's one thing that I think that a lot of people don't appreciate that we as parents of children with disabilities have to say. Is because the disability itself is not something that it's easy to lose hope that they will have the full lives that we dream of. So, what are your hopes for Kennedy as she gets older? You know, what do you hope the world will look like? And do you think that there'll always be somebody who will speak up for her if you're not there?
Want me to go first?
Okay.
Well, as a parent, I just want my daughter to have the same opportunity. I just want Kennedy to know that she still loves, you know, we love her, we want to support her, just like we support our kids.
Mhm.
If you want to do whatever, we're here. We're here to help you. We're here to support you. I want to see my daughter walk across the stage. I want to see my daughter get scholarships. I want the same thing I want for all my children. I want my daughter to be independent. That's one of the most biggest things. I want Kennedy to live her own life, have her own apartment, her own car, her own career. Come see about us if she can, you know, when she get older. But I just want her to have that independence because I see different stories of people you'll never know they had autism. Or, you know, like when I was in school, you know, kids with disabilities was kept, you know,
In the closet.
yeah,
Away from us.
Yes. And now it's not like that. Everybody in the classroom. So the fact that I seen kids, you know, in my son's classroom, you know, just doing it, just like everybody else. I was like, okay, I see it. This is obtainable. This can happen for her. I'm gonna do whatever I can, and ain't nobody gonna tell me no why she can't have it.
Period.
And I just want Kennedy and, like I said, all my children to have that same, just have that same life experience. And I know she gonna do it. I know all of them gonna do it.
Yeah, I feel that. What about you, KK? What do you hope for?
Okay, I'm stopping.
What do you hope for Kennedy when she gets older, and like what y'all sisterhood gonna look like, sistership? What do you think? What do you dream of?
For her to talk.
Okay.
And so I can like do her hair and stuff. If mama let me.
She'll let you, girl.
And like do her nails.
Okay. So you just want a little sister that y'all could do all the girly things with and talk about boys. No. Oh, okay. My bad, Kevin. Don't shoot me. I love that. I think that you're gonna have it too. I think that you'll have it in whatever way Kennedy meets you, and I love that y'all are trying to learn her for what this is gonna look like for her. And just like you said, whatever autism looks like for her, she'll still be able to have that walk. She'll still get the opportunities. You ain't gonna tell us no. And I mean, there's so many things that we didn't even get to touch on. That's why I said you coming back, because we can still school, and like you said, you want her to walk across the stage and like what that journey is gonna look like. And like you said, independence and independent living. And like there's a whole movement out there, like right now here in the state of Alabama, where there are parent advocates, because it always starts with the parents. Give my child an opportunity, give them the supports. They could do it if you give them this. And it's not like we asking for a lot. We in 2025 and it's not that hard. So I love that y'all was able to share y'all story. I hope the people were able to learn some things. I hope that if you have more questions, send them our way. Like, y'all tell Kiki to come back, because she's still sitting over here nervous, but she got a lot inside of her. Same thing for KK. I hope that we just get to walk this thing on out and fight for these kids. And it's gonna look different, yes, but what we do know is that they're capable, and that's what we show in the world, is that they are very capable. We treat at home, we treat them like they're capable, just like KK said. All right, you want the iPad back here, it's gonna die again. And then she understands it, and it's just gonna be, but it takes y'all sacrificing unfortunately, our mental health, our physical health, to make sure that they get like what they need. That's what families look like. That's what support looks like for people living with disabilities. And that's what we're going through as their support. So I was talking to this one mom, and she was telling us that she had a conversation at work, and they were talking politics, and she said, what are y'all's thoughts on people with disabilities? And they said, I don't feel like it should be our responsibility. I think their families should take care of them. Okay, so who you think take care of? Like, help me understand, And there was something you said earlier where you said that if I can't get frustrated, it's my job to educate. Mm-hmm. That takes a whole nother level of strength that the common person, the average person who does not walk disability don't even have. Like, let's be clear. I have to endure what I'm enduring. I have to watch my child, she's not suffering, but these challenges. And then I have to learn like what she's going through. And then when we go outside, because I know we've had conversations about your job and the challenges that you face at your job. Mm-hmm. And I have to put up with your misconceptions, and I can't get mad. I have to take a step back and say, you just don't know. So let me try to help you understand. Mm-hmm. That ain't something that's easy. That ain't something you could just do. You know what I'm saying? Without practice. Yeah. And that's the level of strength that I in my head tell people that they're referring to. It's because you don't understand that you truly offended me right now, but I can't even get mad. Whereas you get offended because somebody swerved in front of you on the interstate, and you mad, but you can say the things that you say about my child. My child got called the R word in my family. You know what I'm saying? And I can't get mad about that. I have to say,
what's that?
So retard is not an acceptable term anymore. And people still refer to children like Harper, children like Kennedy as that. It's actually still a medically acceptable term. That's why it's still around. There's still a mental retardation act that still exists. So that language does still exist. It's just not acceptable. But yeah, that's what they refer to Harper. You seen Harper? Do you think she's that? Yeah. So, and I can't get mad. I had to say, we're during that time, that's what it was referred to. And I have to just redirect them.
As the education moment?
No, I did not. I stopped talking to them for a couple of weeks. I'm telling you, like, it ain't something like when it happens, I say, I got to go. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. I was like, I got to go. And I didn't talk to them for a few weeks. And then when I came back, I knew they knew I was mad. Yeah. So then when we approached the conversation again, it was and I said disability, and then it's disability, because you could then see the relief of, okay, I got it right this time. No, that's just of that time. That was the acceptable term. And they still refer to this one particular family member that we have that has autism. It's called autism now, but during her time, they didn't know what it was because they actually just got the tools to diagnose autism, and there's still some challenges with it. So, anyway, I'm about to take us in another hour talking. So my producer said I got to go, y'all. I hope you were able to learn some things about this family's journey with autism. I hope you were able to hear from KK, even though she didn't want to talk to us, y'all. I really think it's because we old, and she was like, "This is lame," and I didn't want to really do this. My mama made me do this,
Right.
But that's okay. That's okay, KK. I'm pretty sure you said something that somebody is gonna be able to help them in their family, and maybe when they look at their children, they're like, oh, maybe I ain't even been thinking about what it looks like for the oldest sister, who has to also, her dreams of what her relationship with her sister was going to look like has been infringed upon, or like challenged in a way, and we have to be able to communicate that. So not only as a parent, what I thought my child life was going to look like, also her sister says, oh, my sisters, I'm not able to communicate with her like I thought I would. And like she said, I hope one day we will. And I know you will, girl. Anyway, so I'm wrapping up. I'm saying the things. I am going to show y'all these shirts. Now, these ain't the ones that's on the site. These the ones that everybody got on. Focus on the ability. So TWA has finally launched our Aware line, which is our merchandise line, our whatever you call it, but it's inspiration. It's all about conversation. It's all about making sure that people, when you see Harper in her wheelchair, when you see Kennedy, you realize that it ain't the disability, it's person first. And we're trying to change these misconceptions that people have about disabilities. That's the whole point of TWA, and trying to break down, because these invisible barriers that live in people's head is why we have the experiences that we do. And so we can get people thinking different. If we can get people to understand that everybody's walk of life is not going to be the same, we could probably start to really move the needle and see some change in society as a whole. So if you go to our website, www.thewildfloweralliance.com, Aware, AWEAR, Aware is there for you to go and purchase a shirt, purchase as many shirts as you want to. And let's really start to have the conversation about it. And then finally, we've released a resource guide. So the resource guide is out there. So for parents who are new to the disability journey, new to diagnosis, there are resources that are just kind of in one place. We also have a roadmap to tell you, do this, do this, do this, do this. Go ahead and start this process and then do this. So that you could, like you said, you got told because she was 2.5 years old, they ain't gonna give her enough services. Okay, you got the diagnosis. These are the first things that you could do. It's still a work in progress. Give us feedback, send us ideas, send us information. If you see something that's wrong, if you see something that can be improved, we are open to feedback. We are not like gentle people over here. We like, tell us what we need to know, because the goal is to help the people, people who walk through it like we did. And I think we discovered each other, and I was like, you know about Medicaid waiver? And you was like, what? I was told I ain't qualified for that, and I was like, me too, but they lied. I got it now, girl. You need to go get it. So and if we never met each other, I wonder when you would have discovered the Medicaid waiver. You know what I'm saying? Because you had got told that you didn't qualify for it so many times. And so that's what the WildFlower Alliance is here for. We want to be a place of resource. We want to be a place of helping people to know that they are not alone. And then also what we want to do with these the merchandise that we're going to be releasing is really to start those conversations with people and let people know that disability ain't what your mama told you. It ain't what your grandma told you. It ain't about the eugenics, and I'll talk about that one day. It ain't about the institutionalization. I'm gonna talk about that one day. It ain't about all the things that happened in the past. Disability looks different. We in 2025. We got technology. We got knowledge. We got research. We got people who get it. These babies can really get to where they need to be. They can thrive if we just come together as a people. and understand that we are meant to be one single human race that's meant to be together. We ain't meant to be alone. It says it in the good book. I don't care which one you read. It all say the same thing. God meant for all of us to be here together, and that's why we're together. And so I ain't never gonna let no parent sit out here and struggle. I'm gonna do everything that I can. And then I also want to talk to the people who don't know, because just like you said, disability don't discriminate, age, race, nothing. Disability is coming your way at some point. We just got ours early on in life. Whether you get down later on down the line and you need to know about resources, just know that we the ones that's out here fighting to keep them resources, so when you get old that they're available. That's what this is all about. And so let me get off of my soapbox, because I'm gonna keep us going for another hour.
Lastly, tomorrow we're announcing the location for Coffee and Convo.
Oh my gosh, Coffee and Convo, second annual one. I don't know if I told you about the first one.
I want some.
You came to you came to the grandparents' day one.
Okay.
And yeah, you've been to everything. You came to everything, but this was before we met. Okay. I'll say that. So at the point that we met, you've been to everything.
All right.
But this is the Mother's Day one. This is all about, and what we're doing is we're doing a different take on it. It's not just mothers, it's the grandmothers of children with disabilities, it's the teachers of children with disabilities, the paraprofessionals, it's anybody, social worker, anybody who can benefit from, anybody who can benefit from conversation with people who are walking the journey, with people who know. It's just all about getting together, knowing that the community exists, knowing you ain't by yourself. Because I guarantee if you don't like me, you might like her, or you might like her. There's somebody there that is going to fit what you need and have some information that you may not be privy to. And that's what my goal is. I found out about Medicaid waiver the same way I introduced it to you. Hey, you know about this? And think about the people who ain't reaching us. So I just want to create that space so that we can come together and know that you're not by yourself. You're not by yourself, and you're not meant to be by yourself. And I'm not gonna let you be by yourself, and Kiki ain't gonna let you be by yourself. We all out here advocating, and we fighting for the same things, and we want the same things. And so Coffee and Combos, May 10th at the Red.
What? We're announcing it tomorrow.
Oh, May 10th is coming tomorrow. Rest of the information. Please follow us, turn the notifications on, know that the information is coming. But I hope to see y'all. Yeah. Thank y'all for joining us. Thank y'all for the comments. Thank y'all for the feedback. Thank y'all for the questions. Next time it's gonna be me and KK. And KK will get to talk more. Okay. Do you want to come back, KK? I'll take that as a yes. So I'm just kidding. KK, my girl. So, but again, thank y'all so much. And we appreciate y'all for joining. And we hope to see y'all next time on TWA Talks. Bye.